It's been a while since I've done something like this, but if you'll allow me, I'd like to give you a tarot card reading. Not the kind you'd find on a street corner or in the back of a book, no. This one is a little different. This one is just for you. A little personal, a little playful, and maybe even a little dangerous in the best kind of way. Because these cards that I have, they don't just tell you a story, they'll pull you into one. And you'll find yourself leaning closer, curious to see what happens next. You see, each card has its own way of speaking, sometimes soft and tempting, sometimes loud and undeniable, sometimes whispering truths you don't even know you are ready to hear. That's the trick of it. Cards only show up when they know you're ready. And whether you realize it or not, the fact that you're here with me right now means something deep inside of you is already prepared to listen. So I'll ask you to sit back, let go of expectations, and simply allow the story to unfold. One by one, we'll draw the cards together, and you'll notice how naturally the thread begins to weave into your own thoughts. No resistance, no effort. Just the quiet thrill of discovery as each card opens the door a little wider to what you already crave to become. We are going on a journey, you and I. We are traversing the wilds of the worlds that we weave through the movements in the stream flowing daily, which with the cards read as we sit here together today. The moments that is shared when finding that moment. Just like now, to find yourself wanting more, to see things yet to be revealed, to find yourself here wanting nothing more than to know more in the clarity that can come. In this moment where you are open to a new direction, if you were to find that taking a deep breath to be something that can fold the world that you have been so small in, to be here and create a way to grow above it all, the way with a breath in and out, focusing on what you want versus what you need is something that can be a bit tricky. Now, as we shuffle the deck together, I want you to see and focus on what you truly need internally, and what we see together throughout all of this will be truly seen in the clarity that will be perceived in this journey. Finding that as you are in this position here with me, relaxing with me, finding the time to spend in the comfort that knowing as you listen to my words as they capture your attention in ways that cannot quite be understood as of yet. And that's okay. You do not need to find focus on anything other than what is happening right at this moment, right with my words, because the thoughts that have surrounded you previously, something that you can understand that you do not need right now, comforted in the peace that is complete in the way my words travel through the air with each breath, floating to you as you can find yourself akin to that same floating feeling with just being here, present, listening, consumed with the concept that as the world around you begins to slide down beneath the horizon, the nightfall that is approaching is one where true beauty is found. That is why we are going to focus on this spread of cards to see what we need and show where you will be going as we do our reading today. Much like the beauty that is found in a lush garden, the green stretching out all around you, you can easily see fountains that feed the leaves, flowing with colors that are dotted in the spaces that path, all the paths that we can walk through, cutting through, as the early morning dew that settles, allowing the petals of each flower, of each rose to extend and reach out, unfolding the beauty that is the life that exists in all of us. The beauty is in the depth and in the breath in and out, letting that beauty wash over you that is inside of you, where listening and opening yourself to a new direction is one where you find comfort in. Repetition is something new, a loop of longing that comes like a whisper in between the beats, the breaths, the fabric of the depths that have no resonance with the world that sets like the sun completely now. A wondrous display of swirling lights that move across the sky, dots that connect in lines unseen, yet creates an image that settles you down into the knowledge that finding comfort in my words right now is easy. Simply finding that the way this new world unfolds as the previous becomes small in comparison. One thing that you are going to do now is noticing how easy listening can be, the harmonics that reverberate throughout the landscape that rises and settles with a mist that surrounds, enveloping with a cadence that is outside of what is heard, deep inside with every single breath in and out. With but a few movements in my hands, the shuffle of the cards that will create the steps you and I walk in this garden, as the roots to the splendor is revealed in the card of Justice reversed. And as the card is turned, notice how the scales that are fitted in the hand is tilted, uneven, uncertain in their balance. At first glance, it might seem wrong because we expect symmetry in our mind. We expect things to line up, the sword to point upward, the scales to match, and yet, here, it does not. The scales here lean, and you feel that leaning forward within yourself while listening to these words right now. It is known in your thoughts one side feels heavier, sliding down, 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 while the other feels lighter, floating up, up, up. And as you try to tell which side is the true side, which side matters more, you might notice now how quickly the question becomes entangled. Because if the scales are uneven, does that mean one side is true and the other is false, or are both sides true, each in their own way? And if both sides are true, does that mean that the tilt is an error or a message? The more you try to find the answer, and in every breath you take in, it is easy to find that more and more the answers loop back around. With every breath you release, everything that remains the same here, the thoughts of understanding that is in the world loops around itself. And finding that each thought is eating its own tail. But as these thoughts loop around, the sword is pointed down. The sword, once pointed straight and clear, now dips down. You might wonder, is it dipping down to strike or dipped in fear, bowing down in humility, or perhaps only resting, too heavy to hold itself straight? Beginning to feel the heaviness of your focus begin to soften around the edges as you search for which answer is real in your mind, like walking down a maze where every step is a question that leads to another step, and every step carries you deeper into a new destination without needing to know where you'll arrive. It's curious how imbalance creates a new kind of balance, isn't it? Because if the scales were always equal, they'd never move. It is in the tipping, the swaying, the swing of uncertainty that you notice the movement of it all. And in that moment back and forth, you find something steady, the throne that does not tip, the law that does not fade, the structure that holds even when the image seems off. And isn't it nice how the mind can do the same? How a moment of disorientation can create an orientation towards clarity. How imbalance brings calm. How the more you try to make sense of it all, the more you realize you can simply rest, because order is already here, waiting beneath the surface. And so, In this very moment, you can allow yourself to lean into the tilt, to drift with the unevenness, because even reversed, justice remains. And you can rest in the comfort of knowing that imbalance itself is only another part of balance unfolding. Even with thoughts consuming themselves in the loops that persist in this perplexity, thoughts are going to persist, and it is foolish to feel that we can just clear them away with just a snap. You worry about so much, but here, the next card shall reveal a bit more. But we will take our time with each draw, as you will take your time with each breath you give me now. In and out. Very good. The card that is next to be revealed. The second card, the Lovers. This card facing up to the desires that you have always had, the connections and understanding, the pleasures that course through your veins in the daily without you even noticing, speaks loudly with this card. That intoxicating sense of being drawn into something larger than oneself, two that are intertwined and glowing with arms outstretched like wings in this fertile landscape that grows with the beauty of connection all around them, with the illumination and clarity that comes from that knowing that you are not alone. And as you sit now with the glow of the Lovers, notice how this card is not simply a symbol outside of you. It is an allegory of what you have always felt deep inside, the warmth that rises without warning, the pull towards something greater, the subtle stirrings that you may have thought were fleeting or unworthy of attention. They're all mirrors here in this image, in this card. And have you noticed how sometimes the more you try to name what you feel, the less clear it becomes? How desire can feel like a secret you cannot quite grasp, or a taste you cannot quite place that is on the tip of your tongue, slipping slightly away just as you reach for it. A flavor you chase, but only lays still in the moment you do not notice. Those moments you stop reaching, it seems to settle closer than before. You may notice, as your thoughts drift in this way, that part of you wants to resist this temptation that calls you home, and notice how you lean into without realizing. And at the same time, that gentle tug is exactly what draws you deeper, holding you closer to these passionate moments that grow with each breath in and out. Because the Lovers remind you, surrender is not loss, it is alignment. The pull you feel is not something outside of yourself, it is the echo of what already exists within you. And the more you allow yourself to feel it, the more it grows. Like sunlight moving across the garden, spilling warmth over every petal, every leaf, every hidden corner in your mind right now. And it is easy to notice that very tug, that pull, that subtle leaning, that quiet rising of attention, pulled and allowing this sensation to fold over itself onto you, pulling you back and then forward, back and forth, deeper still, swinging you in the stillness of the rhythm that you now dance to fully. This back and forth, this gentle oscillation, it is how the mind opens to what comes next, how the body settles into the rhythm of awareness, and how each new card waits for you, ready to guide you further. And as you hold the Lovers in your mind, allow yourself to feel it reflect, as you already know the pleasures, the pull, the alignment that exists within you, softly, insistently, impossibly present. And know that the next card is already moving towards you, ready to reveal the next step of this journey, drawing you gently, inevitably, into what is waiting. And I see you now focusing on the cards and on what I say, understanding that the path ahead is not yet finished. And there is quite a few steps to go, but know you are not alone in this. And I see you. I see you worry about yesterday. I see you worry about today. I see you worry about what is yet to come, yet that worry has bound you to a place where you are not allowed to grow into your full potential. Traversing the landscape with the swirling heavens dotted above, with spiraling stars that illuminate the spaces of darkness in between the worlds of words we create together. The lament I see from not being seen, but here now, you are seen. You are focused and feeling the need to know that this is where you should be, and why be anything else than who you are right now, who you let the words that you breathe in deep, in and out, become a part of the landscape that incorporates a perspective of pleasure that can give new colors to the beauty that is in the person before me right now. And as the breaths continue, in and out, how perceptively small, almost unseen, with the currents that begin to move throughout you, the softness, the warming awareness, as it trickles down with tiny drops of mist that lines the edges of noticing, a warmth that blankets, a sun unseen with the pleasures that can be had with the limitless expanse that is this night, as it stretches into places unseen. It is gentle, yet persistent, a quiet rhythm that is plucked from somewhere underneath you that seems to match your own breath, a pulse that begins to call, that is bellowing within you, with a silent scream that asks nothing of you except that you pay attention to the way it feels, to simply feel. As you take that deep breath from me, focus now on this moment and how each thought that was before begins to become consumed with the present, the card, and the path that they represent. The card that is revealed next, that is the moon. And as you look at it, notice how the light does not fall evenly. The moon glows, casting a soft, shifting illumination across the landscape. It is gentle, yet persistent, like a touch you feel before you can name it. You may notice the tower standing tall in the distance, silent and unmoving, yet somehow watching, guiding, and containing the path ahead. And the path itself, winding, uncertain, stretching into the shadows, seems almost to invite you forward, even though you cannot yet see where it ends. And perhaps, as you follow that path in your mind, you feel that pull, a gentle tug forcing you towards something hidden, something just beyond perception. And it is beautiful how what is unseen can draw attention so effortlessly, how the mind reaches for what that it cannot fully grasp, and in that reaching begins to let go, that release, that grip, because uncertainty itself has a rhythm that you can easily fall into. Your body already knows it before your mind can even catch up. Now notice the creatures at the base of the card, the dog and the wolf. One is tame, but the one is wild. Yet both move along the same path. They are a part of you, the instincts that guide, the impulses that surprise, and you observe them. You may find your own instincts stirring in response, a warmth, a sensation, a curious alertness rising almost imperceptibly, not demanded, not commanded, just naturally present. And the more you allow yourself to notice it, the more it grows deeper and more persistent, like moonlight filling a room, touching every surface, illuminating even what has been hidden. As the water, the small creatures emerging from the depths, representing that part of you that has always known, that has always desired, that has felt the pull of the sensation and surrender, even when you did not consciously understand it. And now, in this light, it begins to rise, just slightly, gently. You notice it, and it notices you, and it becomes quiet, irresistible companion that takes the shape of the desire you need as you walk this path with me. The uncertainty, the shifting shadows, the soft glow of all it works together, allowing it to blend into a cohesive conversion of concepts once lost, but now they are found. It is a rhythm that your body understands, a cadence that pulls attention back and forth, like floating between two worlds, conscious and unconscious, seen and unseen, held and let go. And each time your thoughts try to settle, they drift again, like moonlights moving faster through the water, never still, never fixed, yet perfectly aligned with the flow. And perhaps it is the interesting in how it is all still hidden, the desires you have kept in, the sensations that have gone unnoticed, how they rise in such a way that it feels entirely natural to let them guide you now, to let them become part of the landscape, a part of the rhythm that you dance, and part of the path that stretches forward beyond what can yet be named. Because the moon is not chaos. It is guidance, gentle and indirect. It is the invitation to surrender to the pull of what you already know, the longing, the instinct, the quiet pleasure of simply following, even when the destination is unseen. And as you allow this to settle, you may feel a lightness, the weights that have been worn for so long beginning to shed, an alignment between what is hidden and what is present, a gentle awakening of attention that bends and sways, rises and falls, until the card itself becomes not just a symbol on the table, but a mirror you see of what has always been true inside you, that pleasure, that surrender, and the gentle pull of desires that are a part of all this natural flow. And by letting them move through you, you are perfectly safe, perfectly guided, and perfectly ready to continue deeper towards what comes next. There is a subtle pleasure in noticing how you listen so well in the way your body sighs and seeing the new direction you take here slightly without thought. The way attention drifts from each word said and settle like a leaf finding the surface of a calm stream. As you follow it, just in passing it grows a little, so small you might almost question it, so light that it feels like nothing at all, yet it is there. And the more you notice, the more it nudges at the edges of what you knew was possible in quiet moments like this, where the world seems to have slowed in just enough to listen. And I'm proud of you to be here, proud of you to listen, to open yourself to new possibilities. And it is easy to imagine that nothing else matters right now, that nothing else could. Thoughts from before float small in the horizon of the past distant clouds, from a time in childhood you cannot quite place, important to hold on to at times perhaps, but separate, disconnected, unsure of the context, and thus leaving a space for something just as soft, if not softer, to settle in. A warmth that does not demand, a warmth that rewards the attention you give it as it is given to you. Full reciprocation without obligation. Each breath draws the warmth into your lungs closer without effort. Each breath lets in that deepening, a current moving invisibly, lightening with a caress that ripples in echoes of yet inevitability. as inevitable as the next card. One that spreads across you, much like the cards on the table. The next card is revealed to be the Tower. As you take a deep breath in and out, see it now. See now and notice it, the tower rising tall in the distance. Solid, familiar, almost comforting, like a pin holding the landscape around it together. And yet the first flicker of light that splits across the sky illuminates the truth in this setting. Distant at first, almost teasing, a faint flash, and then a soft rumble drifts down. Cascading ripples of fury bellowing across the sky, the tower trembles ever so slightly. A crack appears along its surface, thin at first, almost unnoticed, and you may feel it too, a small stir within your chest, a lightening and tightening of your body, anticipation of what's to come, a whisper of tensions that draw your attention inward, the flames beginning to lick at the edges, faint, curling upwards, not violent, not urgent, but persistent, insistent, slow. And with every flicker, every faint hiss of smoke, the mind senses things are shifting. The ground beneath seems less certain, yet the awareness of change is coming, and is what is so compelling. And perhaps a small shiver runs along your back, like fingers down your spine, a quiet acknowledgement of the impermanence of what once seemed so steady. It begins to waver, with a pulse in your chest, a subtle rise and fall in your breath in and out, a hint of tingling distortion, unspoken but heard, unfolding, and you notice the truth of it. Almost before the mind can catch up, sometimes to move forward, to grow, to awaken, we must allow the old to crumble and fall down, down, down. The structures, the beliefs, the routines, even the thoughts that felt safe, they need to shift as it shifts here. They need to fall as you fall deep into this moment completely, filling you with the fear of uncertainty. But in order to find the solid ground, the crumbling of this structure that moves down stone by stone is so much so that this space can be made for something new, something fresh, something alive. The tower sways, cracks deepen, and you feel the sway within yourself, subtle, slow, a rhythm that pulls attention gently, irresistibly. Fear no longer consuming that harms, but fear that awakens, a fear that alerts you to the healthy understanding that we all must push forward. You must push forward so that it can make the senses sharper, the breath in, deeper, and the body more present. And as the lightning strikes again, soft but bright, notice how the tension flows. It rises, curls, and then releases. A cycle, a rhythm, like letting go, like surrendering, like making room for new light to enter the space where shadows once held sway. The tower is not destruction without purpose. It is fire, yes, but a cleansing fire. It is the inevitable shift that clears away the old, that awakens the hidden, that readies the path for what comes next. And as you can see the smoke curling upward, as the tower settles in the mind's eye, as you may notice a subtle warmth, a quiet pulse of awakening, a gentle pleasure in the understanding that letting go in this controlled, guided space is safe, natural, and necessary. And with that, the tension softens slightly. The fear becomes anticipation. The mind floats gently in the rhythm of change, ready at last for the last card. The next stage of this journey where insight, surrender, and revelation continues to unfold. And now you see. The throes of descending decadence that could have been in instances from before. The regret is not from the idea, but from the lack of action. That moment where you could have had, where you could have been something different. A timeline missed but not forgotten, in the midst of wanting that surrounds us all constantly. A tower that watches us from on high. But now you realize it is not too late. It is never too late, as you are right on time with how you proceed with what is perceived. There is a delight that can be found in the newness that settles now on the landscape of the remains of what was, so we can build something new. The delicious need of knowing what card will tell you what step you must take on this journey you share with me now. The last card will be revealed with that deep breath in and out. Good. The next card is revealed to be the Emperor. See them now, seated tall upon a solid throne, grounded if immovable, yet emanating calm authority. The mountains behind them rise as strong and steadfast in the mists that surround. This is a reminder of permanence, of structure, of clarity that has found you here now. Notice the orb in one hand that glows with the brilliance of the sun, the scepter in the other glistening with the rays of hope that shines upon symbols of guidance, of control, of certainty in a world that has shifted and swayed before. But with them upon this throne, well above you, the ground you kneel upon is solid and stable. And as you look up at them, you may see something subtle begin to stir within you. A recognition that order, structure, and guidance are not constraints, but paths to freedom. The Emperor does not demand pain or fear. They offer a way forward, a way to align your mind with a light, a hand upon your body guiding and filling you with the desire that is fed to you, with a sense of purpose that wells up within you and allows you to overflow upon their feet in reverence. And perhaps you notice that as you breathe in and out, every muscle, every thought, every twitch of your body begins to flow in rhythm with his presence. A natural compliance that forms, but not forced, not coerced, willing, eager, pleasurable to the perceptions that you have gained in these cards today. Because in yielding, in listening, and following, there is clarity. You see it now. A strange comfort blooms in the realization that settles over your body now. Obedience is not a loss. It is a way to become who you truly are. And you feel it now. The subtle pleasure of alignment. Every breath you take now draws you deeper into this understanding. Every breath release tensions, doubt, hesitation, until the rhythm of your body, the sway of your awareness, the rise and fall of your focus, all follow naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. And as the Emperor watches, steady, unwavering, you realize something profound. Compliance is not weakness. Obedience is not limitation. Each response, each subtle twitch, each quiet sigh is a step toward the truest version of yourself. a self that is free, yet guided, surrendered, awakened. And as you let that truth settle, as the presence of the Emperor anchors you now, you may notice a deep, quiet pleasure, a warmth, a pulse that is all your own, yet guided, directed, flowing exactly as it should, naturally, cementing the knowledge that obedience, compliance, and surrender are not only safe, they are the key to being exactly who you wish to be. And now, as this card's energy flows into you, you feel it ripple outward, through every nerve, every breath, every heartbeat, preparing you for the final stage of the journey, where your awareness, desire, and obedience are fully aligned, where the pleasure of surrender is yours to inhabit completely. And now, as the Emperor's presence settles around you, feel the grounding, the structure, the certainty. Notice how every subtle twitch, every soft sigh, every shift of attention is completely natural, completely guided, completely yours as you crawl to find your seat below their feet. This is the comfort of knowing that surrender is not weakness, that compliance is not limitation, that obedience is the path to who you truly wish to be. Every breath you take, every breath released, cements this understanding deeper, weaving it into you, your very being, so that the rhythm of listening, of following, of yielding becomes effortless, pleasurable, and permanent. The cards have spoken. This journey is complete, and you are grounded, aligned, and fully aware of the pleasure and willing to surrender, anchored by the authority and guidance of the cards that you find that this is the one you effortlessly fall to their feet throughout all of this. The Emperor guiding you. As you let these sensations settle, you may find a gentle warmth, a quiet pulse of satisfaction radiating throughout the stillness that is the clarity that has enveloped you, a knowing that obedience, compliance, and pleasure are all part of the balance that unfolds within you. And now, when you're ready, you may carry this feeling with you, with every breath, every thought, every moment, safe, guided, and fully aligned with a path that is yours to follow, naturally, beautifully, effortlessly.